Hi guys, Nick and Sarah here again. Again, thanks for listening and watching, however you're consuming it. I'll pass over to Sarah.
So we are on our third episode, theoretically the second part of the second episode, where we're discussing trails in Kawartha Lakes. We did a natural break in our thing, so hopefully you guys like it. And tell us what you think.
Enjoy the episode. Done.
Yeah. Yep. But I'm trying to think, there's a few trails we're thinking about trying, because we're thinking about trying to hunt down Picard.
Yeah, hunt down Picard. I'd like to...
Lingham, I think was it?
Lingham Lake?
Lingham Lake, yeah.
That's another one you need a boat for.
I've never been on it.
Yeah, well, that's something that we can go and turn around. There's some on the... So, yeah.
Not doing concession.
If it's dry. If it's a dry summer.
If we have a very, very dry summer... Yeah, we can take it. Concession's really wet.
Yeah. But there's some of those, like, what is it, Timber Ridge or whatever they're called.
Oh,
the Timbers. Yeah. Dad wants to do
the Timbers 1 and 2. Dad wants to do those.
I'd like to scout. I don't know. I've heard mixed things.
They seem pretty intense, but then again, they don't really have a high rating on the trail index.
I think they're tight.
They might be.
From what I heard, they're tight.
Is he saying Bertha can't fit?
Bertha with a winch can grease her.
Well, if you can't fit, then it's not a trail for all of us.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Because not only, because like you're not afraid to put your Jeep everywhere, but then if we have a 4-door JL going through that's making payments.
Well, again, they're a few inches longer than us.
And you'll rub the soft top in a minute and not really flinch because they're available on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace.
We have two, actually.
Yeah. Someone smashes their JL hardtop.
Yeah, it's expensive.
What, $3,500?
I guess.
If you have a
used, you're looking around $2,000.
Yeah.
For a hardtop.
Now, if you have a Sahara with the color match top.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Not good.
No.
Not good.
So so therein lies, like, people might be upset if we don't say, hey, like, guys, we're gonna do a midday run. Sorry, a midday run, like on Wednesday. Hey, Nick, can you take the day off? Let's just do this, right?
Yeah.
That's very easy for us. We're very flexible. We'll take our old junk through these trails. But then how do you say to somebody, I'm sorry you can't go, but we're going to go rub our windows and our bodies against some trail that's meant for quads?
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole thing with Jack's Lake. Like, I felt terrible because it was a suggestion by a group member to go do Jack's Lake. And it was like, it's not that I didn't want you to come, but it was more... I don't
want you to hurt your stuff.
I didn't want them to hurt their stuff. I didn't want to see any, like, big scratches, big breaks. Look, we punched the door.
That's
we
right.
punched the door of my Jeep.
That's right, going through that tight spot,
the
right?
The second biggest scar on your Jeep was from me.
And it's still there.
Still a scar, yeah.
It's still a scar. It hasn't gotten any better. But, like, I would hate to have any of our members encounter that, you know? Like, as silly as it sounds, Gary, even with Dilly or with Twisted or, I wouldn't even think twice about having them come out with us, because... They're not making payments on their vehicle. It's older stuff and stuff like that.
It's already scratched.
It already
has that first, second, third, 100 scratch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the second or third owner.
Yeah.
When you see, because I know there was talks about doing newbie runs on Jack's Lake. I couldn't imagine because what are newbies?
Yeah.
Usually you see JLs on the tour. I couldn't imagine taking JLs through there. It's really tight. I'm hoping... I'd like to do it again this year.
Yeah.
I'd like to scout it and see if it's been cleaned up.
Well, maybe with the Skidoos going through, the snowmobile groomers going through, they needed a larger space than the Jeep, right?
I really feel that section because it wasn't even straight. It was twisted a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder even if they, like, cut back an extra 6 inches on either side. That would make a world of difference in that section.
Yeah, it sounds lazy, but a groomer with that contraption that's going to cut back the branches and limbs... A lot easier than us running through. Because, we talk about, hey, let's do a cleanup run. Like Crystal Lake. We never even talked about Crystal Lake.
Yeah, we have to talk about Crystal Lake.
But in all fairness, when we go through there, it's only a gentle cleanup. Like, we adopt a trail, blah, blah. But in all fairness, it's just a matter of, okay, these limbs have set... it always seems to be raining when we go to do a cleanup.
Yeah, so you get all the saggy limbs.
Yeah, so we're cleaning up the saggies, so that makes it look worse than it is. But, if you're being honest, the trail itself is fairly open... Yeah. Whereas Jack's Lake was like, you have cutouts And the branches that are cut out have grown in slightly to the point where your one wide vehicle is not fitting through.
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, could you imagine if we met somebody on the trail?
No, you'd be backing
Somebody's
up.
backing up.
Someone's
You'd be backing
backing
up 200-300 meters.
Well, even still, there were sections where we couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Like, we couldn't get out of the vehicle. It was that tight.
Yeah.
And then, in stark contrast, look at Scotch Lake. It's an open, Scotch Line. It's a totally open.
Yeah, well,
concept.
it's a hydro cut.
Yeah, it's a hydro cut, so it makes
and
a world of
rock.
difference.
Now,
But so
much
is
is
Jack's Lake too, isn't it?
That's
It's
right.
a hydro
It is
cut,
a
but
hydro
It
cut.
follows it on and off.
yeah, it snakes around it a lot more.
Yeah, and
So
it
when
doesn't.
it's on the cut,
No, but if you actually look at the trail index, we followed the trail specified for OF4WD.
okay.
So we, as you said, we're kind of passing it out, but like the hydro cut wasn't listed as an option for us on OF4WD.
No, it wouldn't because there was no trail there, and yeah, because there's a spot where you come down through the bush. That's where, and there's a big drop, and you come out through the bush and you come into the field. Well, there's that creek at the bottom. So if you tried to follow the hydro cut,
Yeah.
you'd be nosediving into a creek.
Yeah. So there's, I don't know. Again, it wasn't. It could be a favorite.
Yeah,
I wish it was a bit closer.
It is a long ways away, but it's also a very nice drive.
It was not a bad drive at all out there.
I prefer driving out that way than I do up to Minden.
We'll see. I don't mind driving to Minden.
Minden's only an hour.
Yeah,
Scotch Lake's an hour and a
but
half.
like out to Apsley is really nice drive.
I'd love to go all the way through Pencil if we could do that again this year.
I'd like to do it just once,
you know,
once to go all the way through to the other side.
Me
But
too for it.
we have to get people going either through the water or up the mountain because we do have a few people who have never tried the mountain.
That water's too deep for
Those people.
for unless you're lifted.
Yeah.
Well, in the
so
start of the season when the rain's when the snow's
well,
all
remember
melted.
we've seen
Well,
that
think how-
side by side drown itself out there.
Yeah.
We're like, hey man, you know
ATVs.
the water's a little deep there. Maybe not. Maybe be careful. Maybe go around it. Nope. Blah.
Look at that, it died.
Yeah.
Well, remember the first time we went through? I remember the first time we went through and the water was splashing the bottom of my Cherokee.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I hate every second of this. This is, as you said,
it's just
mechanical things
decently
and
high
cats.
off the ground too.
For a Cherokee, it's a mile in the sky. But
Yeah.
but in all fairness, no, I hate how you have to go up. You have to go through the water just to go up that part of the trail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
What's our time? Oh, it's almost bedtime.
Well, there's that. I think before we call it a night, we have to discuss Crystal. I mean, Crystal is the one
Definitely
we've
talk about
adopted.
Crystal.
We've looked after it for what now? This is our 3rd year
Yeah.
with our
Yeah.
adoption process.
And the 10 times we ran it, 7 times have been raining.
We've had a decent amount of rain on the trail, but I mean, we've also had really good days. Like when I took Turner, Kevin, and Joel out, it was a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah.
It was a gorgeous
I had
day.
baseball
going.
that day.
You had baseball
I
that
had
day.
baseball.
So and you were working, so it was just me and the guys, and we went out and
Yeah.
we had a great time. It was a nice dry day, so
Yeah.
we didn't have a lot of water.
Yeah.
That first obstacle is amazing in the dry.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's another thing about Crystal. It's another one of those trails where it's as hard or as easy as you want it to
Yep, depends
be.
on lines.
Within reason. There's a couple of spots that
You have no choice.
you have no choice. It's a little bit of side camber and whatnot, but aside from that, it's
a
easy.
lot. I was just say it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Closer than Scotch.
Closer than Scotch, I feel like it's a good happy medium. There's
Yeah.
lots of really nice places to have lunches. There's lots of camping there.
Oh, tons of camping.
You know, like there's 3 set aside campsites.
Yeah.
Like actual, these are 3 separate campsites that we have.
Do you want to just do a quick rundown of some of the things that have happened on that trip?
We have had a few interesting debacles. Who do you want to start with?
Smash rocker on the taco.
We had that when I took the guys
that
out.
one hurt because it's first gen taco.
Yeah, it's a pristine body taco.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they-
but
At least
he,
the rocker.
a pristine body first gen.
Yeah, there was a.
95, 97, something like that.
Maybe
Is it like
I don't know. We'll have to clarify that with Kevin.
Yeah, there was a
We're
little
not
bit.
really Tacoma people here.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of determination and frustration when he sent it.
spotter.
He kind of sent it a little bit hard, and I was like, "Oh God!" and just bang, and yeah, it punched that rocker pretty well.
Yeah.
It sealed the door.
Yeah.
You know, and then
that was unfortunate.
That was unfortunate, yeah. But
so the video from the last one, the snapped axle and the TJ, that was Crystal Lake.
That was Crystal Lake. That was when Gary went through and snapped that axle. That was Crystal Lake. Yeah. We've had.
I had the freak out with the kids and the hog nose.
Oh, the hognose snake. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There was that snake in the campsite that you were like, "Don't go near there." I'm so glad I wasn't a part of that.
And I was over there. I'm like, hey, it's an eastern hognose snake.
No big deal.
Hey, it's awesome.
And then I didn't really like how it was so close to the edge for like down to the water. The kids could just.
Well, Archer disappeared. Remember? And I started to have a panic attack, and I had to get Kevin to go because I'm just like, I can't do it. He's like, what makes you think I'd want to see it? And I'm like, I know, but you're not the parent, and I can't walk right now. That was really
what?
When he took off.
He took off.
When was this? Was this the same day as the rolled rocker?
I think it was the snake day.
It was a snake day.
Oh.
And he just went down one of the drops in the campsite to get closer to the water, but we didn't know that there was a trail down there. We thought he actually just dropped off the cliff. And I couldn't walk. I was having kittens. Yeah. And it was just really, really bad.
I could see that. That is...
Because that's at the first campsite, wasn't it?
Yeah. The second campsite was the one that had the hog nose.
Yeah, eastern hognose snake.
But then I'm thinking we had Turner. Turner swamped it in there with his the TJ same day. I had a lot of really interesting days on that day. I was with 3 guys and they were
really? I didn't
they were making me work hard for my
what did he do? Just hit the water too hard or
no, he buried it. He buried it in a water hole and it got stuck.
The Robert hole?
No, it wasn't the Robert hole. This was a different hole entirely. And yeah, Turner got stuck and Kevin had to winch him out. I think Kevin pulled line twice for Turner on that.
Yay, one VR.
And because we had 2 sections where he just dropped in and it went too far. Like, you and I were working on the trail index.
Yeah.
And we're going to have it of, don't go into this water hole. It's deep.
I think I've nosed into it a couple different times. Because I think I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because you can go high ground.
Yep.
And it's technical through trees, or you can go low through the water.
Yep.
Doesn't look horrible.
Nope.
But yeah, I nosed in.
It is sand's bottom.
It's just keeps going down.
Well, that was his thing.
Nope.
He went and it went down and that Jeep did not sound very happy. It sucked a lot of water in.
Tornadoes are not submarines. I don't care.
No, they're not submarines. I know. I feel TJ's...
I'd like to see yours go in.
No.
And because I think you could go through.
Are you crazy?
No.
Maybe a little.
Cat.
Yes.
Don't like water. Don't get me wet.
Yes. Yes, pussycat.
I was just say you did have you went through because we had Robert again. That one day he nosed into that section.
Yeah, and he got stuck.
He got really stuck. You had to pull a line to pull him out.
Yeah, and then
because we had snatch block and everything out of him because the lines weren't clear.
But you went the same ruts, but hammered.
Yeah, we had to cut away to a video of that to show a little snippet of him just
I was so close to getting stuck.
I just sat there and I'm like, oh, it's still moving.
Yeah, and that's I'm sitting and I think Alex was with me.
I think someone was with me. Cheryl was with me outside. I think
Alex was in the Jeep with me, and I hit it, and I start slowing down. I'm like, oh, I was an idiot. Why did I do this?
Immediate
and
regret.
I'm slowing down, almost stopping, so I start turning, and I don't dare stop the wheel spinning, and I'm still moving forward.
Something is moving. I am moving millimeters, but I'm still moving.
Yeah, 3 hours later.
But it just kept clawing. It just kept going.
It did. It kept clawing. It kept going for it.
And I commend you for just not giving up because that's what it took.
And that's it. And my diff oil did not look good because I had no seals.
Yeah, you had no seals in it. I think there was a comment on the video where I'm just like, who needs axle seals?
Yeah. The commitment.
Yeah, but
you committed to that. I was actually really shocked you did that because your axle seals, you said at the beginning, I don't want to get into any water, I don't want to touch water, and I don't want to touch the mud, and then
I go
the green
sent it.
Yeah, so I don't always make good choices.
Yeah.
As it turns out.
Don't dare me with a good time.
Don't threaten me with fun.
Yeah, nobody said I was a role model.
And the white Jeep with the 37s went after or before?
After.
gonna say, yeah, because why wouldn't you follow 37s after 35s? Like,
He got slowed down, not as much as you.
Not as much. Like he
but
followed
he did.
my trail, but yeah, it was.
No, but
and then Robert followed us, and he made it.
Yeah,
there.
and Robert followed
That
you.
was the key. I think we had to break that trail.
Well, it's
So
the
you
same.
had-
He was on all terrains at the time.
I was
too.
gonna say, because
Yeah.
you're talking 35-inch trips with limited slip, short wheelbase.
Yeah.
Then 37 SCT Pros
Opens.
open, and then the TJ with 35-inch all-terrains.
Yeah,
It's a
BFG.
And
natural
open.
progressions.
Yeah.
Because
And
you
open,
think
full
about
open.
how it is at Scotch Line. Like the first guy plows the muck, plows the silt, plows the abrasive, the
Yeah.
lapping compound, if you will.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And
So-
then
Exactly.
and then everyone else is just
And then
like,
everything-
what's your problem?
Yeah.
That
Well,
was so
I was just
easy."
Why
saying,
is it
well-
so hard?
Well, it's because you don't have a two-door. No, it's because I plowed the silt so you
Yeah.
could get through.
Did you see the
Yeah.
top of my Jeep? It's wearing most of this.
I have to tell myself lies to feel better sometimes.
I know. It's okay.
We just share the lies. We
Yeah,
perpetuate it.
There's friendly banter. We discuss
Yeah.
this friendly banter.
Yeah, no,
friendly.
for sure,
I
for
feel
sure.
like we harass each
I
other.
miss you. I hate
just
you.
enough.
You're my brother.
And then after that, there's not
I see.
a
There's
whole
not.
lot. Like there's a couple of water obstacles where you're dodging logs in the water, but
Yeah,
it's,
but nothing really.
like it sounds way worse than it is.
You're
It's not
pushing.
that
Yeah, you're pushing a small wave.
But nothing overly deep and serious. I really
Yeah.
like after the
And
barbecue
there's-
spot that like weaving through.
bad. Yeah, and there's a bottom to the holes.
Yes, that is
That's
a
right.
big
That's-
thing.
It's not bottomless.
It's that dense
Yeah.
And you've
granite
drained a
gravel.
few. Mitch is very good at using certain sticks to create little holes,
Yeah.
so it starts draining out the water
But
hole.
again-
Now
what do we-
they
what do-
also you got to watch when you're running that because forget what the organization is called, but they do enduro races on that trail. Enduro
Absolutely,
motorcycle, and that was going on one time we were on there,
that was right, and that was when we were doing a trail cleanup.
Yeah.
And we were dodging dirt bikes,
and we didn't know.
We had no idea. That
didn't
is,
know.
Crazy that was information wasn't shared.
it was crazy that information wasn't shared, but that is why
'Cause
I
we
am
had
part
some
of
weird-
so many groups, though.
Because we
Yeah.
had some irritated dirt bikers. We're like, sorry, man. Like,
Yeah, like
didn't realize
if
you
we
were
would have
here.
realized it, then we would have.
We
not
would
been
have
we
here.
did
planned
see-
our things at a different
we
day.
did see some talent, though. You could tell the difference between a novice rider and an experienced rider.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the experienced riders just bouncing up them rocks, and
Yeah.
then the novice guys just stumbling.
Yeah.
Well, there was a few that went down and stuff like that. Like it was, we kept the kids inside the vehicle all day.
You're like,
Because
you're
you
Because
got
it
these
wasn't
bikes
safe.
running through. Yeah.
gonna get taken out.
And they're racing, so I
Yeah,
like.
I understand.
I understand. I don't.
yeah.
Don't want to say I don't blame them, but I understand.
Yeah.
I don't hold it against them at all.
No.
And again, that was another rainy, crappy day too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's usually a mist in the air for some reason.
How-
But
how
then
do
again, when we first went out and scouted it, do you remember? First day, when I was on my old axles,
Yeah.
the two of us went out and we scouted that. Remember
Yeah.
we did the first obstacle up to the first
Yeah.
campground back. Beautiful
Oh,
day.
it's gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
It
because
was
we just
sunny.
went up for like a 45-minute run or something.
Yeah, we went up, we did the front, and then we went around and we found the exit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that was great.
Yeah.
We couldn't beat that. So
We have ran in the dry on occasion.
it has been ran in the dry on occasion. I think it's a good trail for our group. It's close enough. It's technical enough. It's
Good trail for any group.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm really
Yeah.
glad that we're able to put it back on the map.
There is a land use
Yes.
controversy with it, not on the part that we typically go on, but there is an offshoot that where you can go. It basically cuts the trail in half,
Yes, there
and
is
that
that
part
section.
crosses
Yeah.
private property, which they have a use agreement with the landowner.
That
but
one's
it's-
not even the issue. Actually, the biggest issue that they're having is when you come off of Crystal Lake Road to the trailhead where you have all that camping and stuff like that. You know
Yeah.
how you like dip down and go down to the river?
Yeah.
Okay, that section of road, even in that clearing section where the ATV, where the snowmobile trail map is,
Mm-hmm.
and that large clearing, that section from the road to that clearing to Crystal Lake Road is private access,
Oh, that's the private.
that is.
Oh.
So, we actually had an issue with one of our members.
Yeah,
They weren't
because-
feeling well.
Yeah.
They left the trail,
Yeah.
and they didn't have the ability to park in the clearing because there was a huge group there.
Yeah.
So they went further down and they aired up. And there was an issue.
Huh.
You know? I had to reach out to OF4WD board and let them know that we had an issue. There wasn't any issues. They were slightly parked on the way so people could fit by.
Yeah.
They weren't on
Yeah.
they weren't driving through trees or anything like that.
Yeah.
They were just parked over to one side, had a tire on the grass.
Yeah.
They immediately cleaned up. They didn't finish doing what they're doing. They immediately unplugged, they cleaned up and they moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? But it definitely is something that, like, keep in mind when you go in there that is a very controversial part of the trail.
Yeah. Well, any Crown access trail is going to have that because
Absolutely.
especially in southern Ontario, because there's so little Crown for the amount of people that are around.
And a lot of our trails are run on private access and landowners agreements. Even Scotch Line, we could go back to that. If a tree falls down on Scotch Line, we had that tree one year, remember?
Yeah.
At the beginning when we started wheeling together.
Yeah.
A tree fell down. Well, it was partially on private property. It was also on park property.
So you're
and
not
it hit this
allowed-
huge gray area, and you had to get all the forms filled out.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't just go in and cut down the tree.
Nope.
Because it's mildly just
Yeah.
so many bureaucratic. I can't pronounce it. I'm just
Bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy through the entire process
It's okay.
to make
Words
it.
are hard.
Words are hard. It's been a long day. Like that is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you have to think about.
Or you can just stick to private, like, race place.
There's race places.
And I know when we went, like, it was after Thunder in the Hills, and it was wet and muddy, and a lot of water, and a lot of line pulling and whatnot. I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun at the time. Whatever, you guys are scared of water.
It was a nice day, though.
Okay, but
But also
too,
at the same time, there's, again, same thing, a little bit for everyone. Because you don't have to go on those hard trails. He's got.
but at the
easier
exact same time, you punched your door.
Yes, I got a
You
decal out of it.
Yeah, you punched your door. I feel like I owe you a decal for something.
Probably.
I think a rock hit you. Tailgate?
Our bag and tailgate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bad
See,
spot.
everything's. What was that?
You're gonna clear. I'm terribly sorry, Nick.
Was that you?
One
Yeah.
job.
I'm worried about my tire hitting the rock. No, you'll be fine. Oh, look at my tailgate.
But there was also, like, I slipped and fell.
Yeah.
I smoked myself on rays.
Yeah.
You
You
punched the
Yeah.
back quarter in the Cherokee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that absolute grease mud hole.
So it was just a bad time for us to go.
It was a really bad time. Like,
We
I
had
feel.
baby tires and no horsepower compared to the guys that were just there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it was. Look it up. Thunder in the Hills. It was
Full buggies.
Yeah,
Race buggies.
Full race buggies.
Not even just
Like
buggies.
some
race
of these buggies that were in Thunder in the Hills, they just finished competing in King of the Hammers.
Absolutely.
So
Same.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's no wonder that we had issues going through, what, I think it was the weekend after? Two
Yeah,
weekends
the-
after?
very next weekend after.
Yeah, like, it's...
In all fairness, I'd love to go back and kind of like to camp. That'd be kind of cool.
It'd be interesting.
Just because it is an off-road park, it is an off-road campground. The proximity, you don't feel it's worth it?
Yeah, to me, it's not worth camping because
Yeah.
I can drive there in less than an hour.
With a tin stop.
Yes, exactly.
Coffee is important.
Coffee is very important, almost as important as beer. More important than beer. Actually.
Depending on the time of day,
Well,
Is there, what did you say? Is there a wrong time for beer? It
if
depends
it's a day
you're,
off.
If you're day off and we're staying home, crack them in the morning.
yeah.
No, it's, trying to think here, because we have race play. There's also that really cool private access, that was one of the first trails you and I ran together, is, Richie's.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Richie.
You know, like that,
Like
I
if
would...
we won the lotto, that'd be the first place we'd go.
Absolutely. I think it'd be worthwhile if we can get a group together of just us, of going up there.
I'd like to explore all the trails.
Yeah.
Not just the lake.
I'd like
the
to
lake
do the
is
lake.
really nice, but I'd like to explore some of the more difficult trails that we don't go on.
The ones that Sarah smashed her Jeep on.
Not this. In all fairness, she wouldn't have smashed it if it was just us.
Well, absolutely. And
Nick,
that's,
how am I looking?
Yeah.
Looking not good. Okay.
Yeah, not good. Let's reset. Let's pull some line here, guys.
Look
Well,
at
that's
that.
the whole
Problem
thing.
solved. Thanks,
I'd
Nick.
like to do the trails, even the trails that we've done there,
Yeah,
like Doodley Mountain and stuff like that. Like, I'd love to do those
I've
trails
never
again.
been down to Doodley.
Yes, that was a trail that we did with Warhol.
Oh,
Yeah, with
Yeah.
oh,
the rain.
and then that's right.
With my
Trail
illegal,
guide.
yeah, with my illegal
Oh
combination.
yeah, and
and
my perfect throttle control.
yeah, you have perfect throttle
Yeah.
control.
Oh, great throttle control. Thanks. It's an automatic.
I'm great.
I say I had the illegal combination. I was told that I need to put it in 2-wheel drive so my locker doesn't make noise, and I'm like, it's a lunchbox. It makes noise anyways. Roll back out the window.
And again, it was a rainy day.
It was a rainy day, and so, but like, I would love to go try
Yeah.
all those trails that we've done, but I would like to do it on our terms
With our group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that we're special. It's just that we.
No, it's just we know how each other, and we know
our capabilities,
limitations, and capabilities. Yeah.
Yeah, but also too, you're not in a group of 15 Jeeps.
No.
You know, we don't run that big of a group, and that's why we're such a tight group.
Yeah.
Because all three of us have agreed we don't want to accept new members, and it's nothing against new members. We're trying to keep our numbers small so we can all wheel together, right? But like, it would be great to go out onto those trails with our group because we're not rushing trying to get people through.
Hey, you're sitting on your fender. Hey, don't go ahead. You're going to take both the freaking license plate and your
well, and that's off. Like, I know we say sometimes not nice thing about trail guides, but it's their responsibility to keep that line moving.
Absolutely.
Get everybody out in a reasonable amount of time. So it's like, some of you may die, yes, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. But in all fairness, like, he's got to get everybody through. So, okay, maybe you might knock your tail light, or we could do this. This is going to take half an hour. This will take 5 minutes. Let's do that.
Yeah. Which is, it's terrible that that's the thing.
Like,
but
it's unfortunate that's the way it is, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
When you've got a group of 15, 20 people, rigs coming through, and you got to keep that line moving.
Yeah.
Or else it'll be midnight before you get back out of it.
Well, also, too, on some of those trails in Ritchie's, you have trails intersect each other and they cross over one another. Right? Like Doodley Mountain crosses over the lake.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that trail moving. You got to get people through because otherwise you're blocking a whole other group of people.
Exactly.
You know? So it's... I understand why they... As you said, why they do what they do. That's why I want to go back on our own terms. Because if we take all day, we take all day. You know? Like, it's not a huge deal to us. We're not holding anybody up or anything.
And you could argue, okay, so we go out on a trail. We look after each other. Okay, so we're 5, 8, 9, 10 Jeeps or whatever. It's a nice size group. And then we go out to a trail like that. Okay, there's way too many of us. We have our own sort of mentality. But then the folks are wheeling. We wheel... In some instances, we will almost every weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have a good rapport, and we get a little upset that it takes a little bit too long, or maybe we don't take long enough, or we don't stop for coffee, whatever the case may be. But when you have folks that are coming up and they only wheel once a month or every couple months, they have a different mentality. They don't have that. I don't know how to put it. They just don't have the same care, the same lookout. Maybe they're looking at it from a different perspective. Much what you said. They just say, okay, we have 15, 20 Jeeps on a trail. We have to get this line moving.
Yeah.
Whereas we're looking out for every little bit because that little piece of plastic's no big deal, but then it's falling off on the way home.
Yeah. You know? But also we're very lucky to live where we do with all the trails
around.
In
our backyard.
Yes.
They're in our backyard, so we can go every weekend. Whereas like the London, Ontario, they come up. It's a one weekend affair, and some guys they do it one weekend of summer because that's all they can.
Because that weekend costs them $1,500.
Well, it's not even the cost; it's the time. What is it to London? 5 hours from here?
Yeah, they're taking Friday off. They're taking Monday off.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean, it's the cost.
Not everybody has the flexibility.
We go up on an afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, there's no comparison.
Think about how we, there was one summer where I, and Red would go weekday wheeling.
Yeah.
You know? Friday afternoon, our buddy would get off work at 11, and the three of us would bugger off to a trail and go wheel for the afternoon. Yeah. You know, like that was awesome.
You can't compare that. There's no way.
You know, and like no one's on the trails because no one's coming up. Like we're passing people as they're coming up to the trails, and we're like, "Have a good weekend.
Even
we're
the folks
done."
in Toronto, it's a 2-3 hour drive depending on if you live in Mississauga or.
Well, we have. Think about it. We have Gary. We have Kevin. They're down in Guelph.
From Guelph, so that's 2 hours just to get.
I was just say that's a tour. Thank goodness that you are able to put them up.
Yeah.
So they can come up Friday night and get at least a good night's sleep before hitting the trails.
Yeah.
We have Joel. We have Lena. You know, everything like that. They come from Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto, Oakville.
You know.
It's amazing that this is something that unites us all, but it's such a spread out thing.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
And like
I'd
love to do more wheeling in the near northern Ontario, because that's what I grew up with and whatnot. But I just came back from up there, and it's 4 hour drive.
Yeah.
One way. Tremendous commitment.
Yeah.
Well, even Ardbeg for us is a long tour.
Is it 2.5, 3 hours?
It's about 3 hours.
It's about 3 hours. Yeah, it depends on how you go and stuff like that.
We did it with an overnight or two, and you did it all one day.
I did it all one day. It wasn't bad for me, because I have air conditioning.
It was a really hot weekend. My air conditioning's not working at the moment. We really got. I was
shivering in my Jeep.
And Kevin
did. Black pants and shit.
You were wearing pants and everything. Well, Kevin didn't have any air conditioning either.
I generally wear pants, yes.
But it was funny though, because like you'd just be like, "Oh, I'm so chilled in my air
Good thing
conditioning. Kevin and I are like soaked, and we're like, oh god, I hate you.
Good thing my leopard print thaw.
And yeah, just so brisk in here.
Yeah, so we need to fix that.
Yeah, Ardbeg itself though, that's a whole episode on
That's
its
a
own.
whole episode on its own. Absolutely,
There's just so much up there.
Absolutely.
Never ends.
Yeah.
And
That's a whole other realm of adventures. Think of the adventures we've had up there. Like,
and I feel honestly that twice that we've been there, the multiple days that we've stayed there, it is still so much more to see.
we haven't
100%.
even scratched the surface of it.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to going up this
Scotch
year.
line times 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, like a whole episode on its own. Maybe we can record an episode from there.
Could you imagine?
That'd be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be
Maybe
pretty
we could
cool.
do that this
Right
year.
on that big mountain where they do all the burnouts at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Maybe we can get somebody there.
Just be like, and that's happening.
Yeah, we'll just pause while this guy blows the tire.
Yeah.
That's
Heats
tire.
up his radials.
Oh, jeez. It is totally the Wild West. Like, we go to these different places, okay, so Scratch Lake, we didn't see anybody till we saw people at the end.
Yeah.
Forest Mountain, hit or miss. Greens, of course, you see.
Yeah.
Goodrum, often see.
Yeah.
Pencil Lake, summer times,
You know what's
Yeah.
odd? No, but sometimes we usually don't see people on Pencil.
Depends on the time.
ATVs on the weekends. If it's a long weekend,
But
you
you know
see
what's crazy?
ATVs.
We had, so I went out with Ken and Christine once.
Yeah.
So we had 3 Jeeps going through. Wednesday, of all days of the week, Wednesday. 3 of us are just booting through like nobody's business. We came across a group from Toronto. Land Cruisers, Raptors. There was over 15 of them. And we're
you
like,
didn't take
What
pictures.
What
I
are you
didn't think
doing?
to take pictures. I was just like, I'm like, oh, okay, we got 2.
Because how often, how often do you see something that's not a Tacoma, Jeep, or
That's it.
Cherokee Jeep? That's basically it. That's what you see
So
on the
I
trail.
have seen, I've seen a power wagon. You and I have both seen the power wagons.
That blue one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen power wagons.
It's funny,
Yeah,
the first
I saw.
thing I think of is like World War II. Like,
But I'd love
No,
to see.
no, no, not like a really cool power wagon. I'm sorry, not like. I guess
I'd love
a cool
to see a
power wagon.
Land
Nothing against
Cruiser, like a Land Cruiser, a '90s Land Cruiser going
I would
through,
love to
or
see
even
something like
even
that.
a Land Rover, like a Defender, or
oh
something.
my god, yeah.
well,
Right,
you'll
like
never
that
see.
would be-
Okay, so
A
in all
Defender
fairness,
90 when I was a kid?
you'll never see a Defender 90 on the trails because that's like 180 grand.
But they were just normal vehicles when I was a kid growing up. Four-wheeler magazine, like you'd see this yellow Defender 2-door 90.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah.
And now, like you said, you see a Defender 110 and you're like, see a 90, you're like, have I gone to heaven?
Yeah.
Where is this thing?
But even a Discovery, like you don't see those, and those are very capable vehicles. Electrical issues aside,
Aside, yeah.
yeah, LR3s. Like I've seen a couple on the road that look like they're capable, but I've never seen one on trail.
There you go,
Say,
latest
that's
ones
probably. Say we haven't really seen anything. I have a couple of buddies
I've
down.
seen a Subaru one time on
Yeah,
Pencil.
yeah. You and I've also seen that Corvette was it?
We saw a Corvette, there was a Cavalier, we saw lots of dirt bikes.
Mustang. I think we.
sorry.
But these are like in the trails we've seen them.
I had an off-road Camaro when I was younger.
No, this
That's next
Corvette
level.
wasn't off road.
No, like it wasn't off-road. It was.
Like, are we
Off-road.
talking like VW, lifted, CV?
No,
shafts?
we're talking. It was a parts car for my Trans Am that still ran, so I just sent it.
Oh, this was like skirted Corvette
High
on
school
Forest.
off-road.
Oh yeah.
on Forest. We have no idea how it got there. You and I both were just like airlifted. It's like it's been
Was
rocky
there a
going.
way or a drop here? Like,
Right. Well, it was a clearing, so like, I mean, maybe it was a thing. I don't know.
Even Forerunners. I haven't seen a lot of Forerunners.
No, you don't
there was
see a lot
that
of
Exploder one on Crystal.
That was way before we met Nick. wasn't
No. That was like last year or the year before. There was a one that had the exploded front diff.
Yeah.
And he was such a gentleman. I'm
Yeah.
like, you are the Mr. Toyota that I
he?
love.
I think you're thinking. I think I'm thinking of a different one.
You must be because I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm
Because
thinking
there
of a
was
different
two Toyota guys that were there.
Yeah.
And the one guy had the V8 4Runner.
Yeah.
one. Was this? I think that was the one you guys did with Kevin.
No.
I don't think I was there for that one.
We didn't do Crystal. We did Forest.
Oh, you're talking Crystal. I thought you were talking Forest.
No, this is Crystal, my love.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And because I remember asking the guy, I'm like, what are you doing with the drain pan under the front diff, friend?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, yeah.
Thinking maybe engine, but he's like, no, I exploded the front diff, and the other fella had gone out.
That's
to,
right.
to
get parts.
Get parts. So
And I'm like, parts for a Ford.
That was right
That's
at the
right.
camping area, right?
That was
The
right at the
second
camping
camp
area.
area.
And he actually was chatting with us on the Facebook page.
What a beauty.
Yeah, he was just like, don't worry, we got the parts and we're gonna head out. You know, it looks like you guys had a great time on the trails and everything like that. So
Yeah.
we heard from him. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I love all that shit.
oh, absolutely, I love how a sport can connect so many people.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
this is how I met. This is how I met you. Was through wheeling. This is how I met you.
Yeah.
Was through wheeling. You know, like
Well, with Jeeps.
with Jeeps. Yeah.
Hey, you're my friend now.
Well, yeah, that was
I didn't have a choice.
that was an interesting story.
Hey,
Almost
you're my
caused a bit of
neighbor, and you have a Jeep.
Yeah.
caused a little bit of a rift between him and his wife. You know, so
Oh, marital problems.
this blonde came over and was like, "Hey, how you doing? We're friends now."
Yeah. And my wife's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
But I
What did she? Who is she?
Yeah. Who's giving you caramel corn?
Who owns the Jeep? I don't care who I'm giving it to.
But then she was like, whatever.
Yeah, we're friends now.
Yeah.
It's a
I
community.
still remember
If
when
if he's your problem, he's your problem.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that one day, you commented. It was when we broke the lock nut off on my Jeep.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't even that. You did something. Someone posted Kyle James.
Yeah, he
Kyle tagged me in something of a picture, and
And
you
I'm
were
like,
just
hey,
like,
they live kitty corner to me like an idiot.
and I was like,
Like, I can't help myself.
no, and I was just like, got him. And I'm like, I know who he
Friend.
is now.
But that's right.
She's very good at stalking.
Yes,
Damn
I will
it.
find your Jeep, and we
Damn
shall be
it.
friends.
But in all fairness, though, it is something that just breaks the mold, breaks the ice. You know, puts the line in the sand. It's like, I have a Jeep. It's my passion.
Well, you have at least one thing in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
And nothing else, but it's okay. We can
Yeah.
still be
Think
best
how many
friends.
people we've met in parking lots who have come up and talked to us, you know?
True.
See, that's the part I hate about it because I don't like people. But
You are not very talkative. We do have you are definitely not the talkative one of the group, but I do have to admit I'm very much like you until I met this one, and this one's slowly broken me out of my shell that I don't actually mind talking to people.
If you attack people,
Sounds
they have
horrible.
no choice.
It does. It was actually a really big growing thing for me because I was like, I'm cool to stay invisible and just kind of like melt into the background, and now I'm just like, okay. Or my personal favorite, you know who you want to talk to about that is that girl right there. She can answer any questions about any of the Jeeps we have here. Go talk to her. Thanks, Nick. Love you.
Yeah. Slash hates you right now.
Yeah, I'm pushing you in a puddle later. It's all good. It's all good.
That's right. I did splash you, and you haven't got me back yet.
No, it's coming.
No, I appreciate that you keep reminding me so that it can be fresh in my head, so I can keep watching.
I got Gary when he soaked me when we were up on Rainy there.
Yeah.
At the end of the trail, I got.
Oh yeah,
him
that's
pretty
another
decent.
one. Rainy.
Yeah, Rainy.
That's a lot of mud.
Yeah,
That
tell me
was-
about Rainy.
Oh, I don't know.
I
I feel like we should touch on Rainy.
Deep, muddy, cold, no
So
rock.
that trail is one that it can be, depending on the time of year and depending on the year, it can be just a nice little forest with some, like it's ruts, it's not rock because it's a skidoo trail, and up there we avoid the rock if we can.
Well, why would you go over rock?
Right? So, and it was originally a logging road. So it's a logging road base. So if it's dry, it's just all, it's a very nice drive through the forest with some ruts and whatnot that you gotta navigate around. If it's wet in the fall time, as you know, those ruts
I've heard.
they fill
I've
with
heard,
water and they
No
get
fucking
mud.
bottom.
Yeah, no bottom. So the geology is very different up there in between the rocks. It's all filled over the many thousands of years. It's all basically silt and clayey silt.
I'm very great for the power washer.
Yes. So it's
But it
very
has like
sticky.
I was just saying, but it's like it clumps too.
Yeah.
It's
It clumps
Well,
and
Mother
packs.
Nature's glue.
that's the clay in the soil.
Yeah,
There's
because
not a lot of clay, like not like
Can-
if you go down to Leamington and whatever, that's clay.
I don't know
So
my.
it's the clay that was in your Jeep in every orifice and crevice and armpit
Think of
But
the
there
arms.
is-
was
yeah.
a light gray.
Yeah, so it's
You could take it
it's
out.
a silty
The
clay.
kids could
It's-
play
or
with it.
clayey silt, sorry.
When we got
Yeah.
here, we could do that
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids were actually
Yeah.
playing with it, and you could make
No,
stuff out
there's
of
a
it.
lot of clay content in it.
because it could stick to everything.
So
God.
it's
But you grew up on that. That was your jam.
That's what I grew up on, and so I grew up obviously with snowmobiles, and then with ATVs going through that was always a fun trail to go through with the ATV because I was 16, 17. No, not even 14, 15. So I couldn't drive on the road technically. So I'd burn back there with the 4-wheeler, like me and my friends. And we'd go across and we could go over to that other road that we came out on, North Road. And then we had friends that lived back the road there, so we could go to their place without having to go on the town roads.
Friends of the best.
Yeah.
No.
And then, got older, still went on with ATVs and whatnot. And then I took my friend and I, he had a second gen Dodge regular cab, short box gasser, 4-wheel drive. I don't think it was lifted. He just had 33s on it.
That was a bottom finder.
Yeah, yeah. And then I had my Yukon with 33 by 12 and a halves.
That's a fender cut.
Fender cutting and torsion keys cranked.
America.
Yeah, so ball joints hated me.
Half shafts.
I didn't have it long enough on that setup to screw up a half shaft. The rear pinion went before. But anyway, so we took it through there, and that was an adventure.
Fine
and of
bottom?
course, this is... It wasn't as wet as it was when we went through.
So it was a bad time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. We had a bad time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We all had a bad time.
We came in.
I had a great time.
I know you and Gary were in seventh heaven. Mitch and I were just like, "This is just."
And I'm the one who broke. I'm the one who broke.
But he has broke. You have broke.
Yeah.
All
Popped
right.
the tire
You
off the
farted
bead.
a tire. That doesn't count.
But also too, like
That's exactly.
So that
was
clay,
exactly
that clay was great to seal the bead to pop it back on, though, wasn't it?
With the 17 pounds of water in there, like
Oh,
oh my
it was-
goodness.
when we pulled in and we hadn't even made it like 10 feet into the trail, and we had to cut down. Like we had to clear that brush away. Remember, there's that tree down.
Mm-hmm.
I just
That's
sat.
right. We were trail cleaning.
Yeah, I sat there with Mitch, and I'm like, I feel like this is an omen, and we should just turn around. And you were just like, I'm thinking we might. Maybe the guys will just give up. We'll just turn around.
Nick knows
And
where
then-
he's going. Let's follow him.
Well, I didn't know where I was going. We ended up exactly where I thought we would.
You
Well,
knew,
you
knew
got
where
us
you were going.
through.
Yeah.
But then when you blew the bead, I was like, told you it was an omen. We shouldn't be here. This is not where we should be. But realistically, considering you and I built my Jeep to handle rocks and rocks only, even Gary's just like, I am amazed at how well the Jeep
Yeah.
stood up.
If I hadn't have put it in like the rock, the mud.
Oh, when you
shelf-
tried to roll it? That was a lot of fun.
So that was a bad line.
The kids were in the Jeep and they're just like, this is fun. And I'm like,
We're dizzy.
yeah, they were just like hanging off the side. Archer looked ridiculous because he was high side.
Yeah.
Just like hanging in his car seat. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there with the mud there. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to roll my Jeep.
Yeah, that was in the middle of the clay. I can't believe you haven't needed axle seals after the clay.
Don't say
No,
that.
so-
It'll hear you.
Whatever.
She's close enough she could hear you.
So the mud up there isn't as hard on axle seals as it is down here.
Gentle mud.
Because up there it's got a lot higher clay content, so it's
Yeah, I
a
was
lot.
just saying, not
and
as
it's not
silty?
as not as silty and not as gravelly.
Doesn't have the
So in
grit.
Scotch line, it's a lot grittier.
I would say it's almost more sandish.
But the,
Yeah.
the grit is floating at Scotch line. Like it's somehow
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, no,
Which
it's
is hilarious.
terrible.
Especially when you
Stone.
put tires in and you spin it, you just kind of like
Yeah.
mix it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You have that extra 83 horsepower.
No. Roosters.
Yeah. So and then you go even further north, and it's even way more fun than that.
I bet.
Then you get into swamp, where no Jeep.
Muskeg.
Is going. No Jeep is going through there. Yeah,
Unless
Muskeg.
it tracks or flotation device.
Tracked Argo.
Yeah.
Tracked Argo XT, I think the industrial one is.
Okay.
Yeah. Because even a regular 8x8 tracked Argo gets stuck in where I was.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now it's going back.
Oh yeah, that's going back.
That's original four-wheeling.
That well, no, that's not
Mid.
even original. That's like a different stage. That's in the geology, the exploration.
But that's how you give us all those courses when we're out on the trail.
Yeah.
Check
the
this,
rock
check
Yeah.
that.
I love that you don't know enough to know that's all bullshit.
Hey,
What,
tell me all the bullshit.
So what's funny about that? Let's talk about that just quickly. So Mitch is really good, as you've probably known. We'll be driving something. He's like, oh yeah, that's a 52 Chevelle, because obviously, whatever, right?
Yeah.
He'll spit out some random fact.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, not that long, it was last summer, I told him, like, I love how you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you'll see a vehicle and you'll be able to know by like a random trim piece that it's obviously this year. And he's
Yeah.
like, yes, undisputed. He's like, I've never heard you argue with me. And I'm like, well, because I don't know. And he's like, see, I can fucking spout bullshit. and you can't argue.
You
and
just
I'm like,
got to know enough about it to make it sound like you know what's
well, exactly. But when it comes to diesel and Jeeps, I will, usually there's a healthy discussion. You've been there a few times when Mitch and I will have an argument about what engines and what. But when it comes to classic cars, I'm just like, that's not something I've been in love with. So I appreciate them, but
the Nick and the geology gospel, I got nothing.
Yeah, well,
what's what I mean, Nick? If he's spouting bullshit, see, undisputed.
I try not to.
So does he, but still.
Yeah. I was gonna say you generally base everything on facts, and it's okay.
Well, and if it is bullshit, then it's because I misremember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you still believe.
Yeah, I still believe.
Parappa the Rapper, you gotta believe.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's in a roundabout way the wheeling in Kawartha Lakes and the trails, the conditions, unique conditions. Where we want to go, well,
Kingston area,
Calabugie, like a little bit more eastern Ontario.
Let's try some new trails this year. I feel like we have a decent list of trails we want to try.
Yeah.
Now it's just putting some time aside and getting them done.
Actually doing it and waiting till May 1st.
I was just say we're coming up soon, so I felt like May was months away, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's actually not that far away.
I renewed my plates today.
Oh wow, look at you go.
Online.
Well, because they got the scanners now, so you can't oops, I forgot. They're like, haha, we got you.
From a distance.
Yeah.
On your way to get pizza.
Yes.
For your kid's birthday party, yeah. Well.
Yeah, why are you taking so long? I ran into a setback.
Upon setback.
This pizza got expensive.
Absolutely, it did. No, I think it'd be kind of cool if we can discuss some maintenance and stuff like that. But I'm completely comfortable waiting for our next podcast. Some of the things we do.
Waiting for more technical oriented.
Absolutely.
And then, we can circle back to the maintenance.
Because we've been.
You can discuss axle seals and everything like that.
Yeah. Cycling the brakes and
cycling the brakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that's kept those JKs alive.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the rears. Oh my gosh, the rears.
Mm-hmm.
But
especially if you're a winter person, we drive our vehicles all year round.
Yeah, especially yours is now going back into winter mode with your son driving it. So
oil spray,
I'm sorry.
maybe a little spray.
We got to bring her by. We got to bring Willie by and give her a good.
Because the oil spray.
He did oil spray the rockers. He pulled the rockers off the rock rails.
Yeah.
Pulled them off, dumped them out, and oil sprayed them. And there's people in his class like, "Why are you spraying those? They're plastic." He's like, "No, they're metal." I'm like, "What are you spraying plastic for?" He's like, "Hits it off the floor. They're metal."
Plastic ends.
Yeah.
Really? That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, you're raising him up right.
Well, I asked him to do it.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did you
no, he wanted, because he's so bored in auto shop.
What? Bored in auto shop?
Because he gets assigned something to do, and then people come in and start fucking it up. He's like, I want no part of that. Oh. So he's like, do you need anything done to the Jeep? Like the oil, because my oil change light is on because I haven't reset it in the last
4 oil
changes. So he's like, do you need the oil changed? I can change the oil. I'm like, no, I actually just changed it. He's like, what about this? What about that? I'm like, yes, but that's not a job for the auto shop. I'm like, I know what you can do. So
nice.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you want to do some lifters?
So that was one thing he suggested, and I said, no, not in the auto shop.
Like, I really want to be there. It's like you're working on my heart.
It's an overhead cam. So you got to take those whatever they're called, keepers or whatever, loosen them off just enough, but not too much, so that the cam skips a gear,
or
skips a tooth, to pull the lifter out or the rocker arm out.
I would rather do that with you.
Remember I showed you with the Hemi the other day, you know?
Tick, tick, boom.
I know, but whole top end off. To get all the way down to the lifters, remember?
Buddy, to get the cam out?
I went, I'll show you the video.
Tap hits, everything.
The whole top was gone.
If you want, like I said,
because
I love
one was gone.
The idea of just putting an LS in it, but it hurts my feelings to think, hey, why not just put in Mopar to Mopar or no car, right?
Well, because, it's Mopar. It's not super great.
But that Hemi sounds wonderful, especially if you
they do.
Think of the Hemi Cuda.
The Rubicuda.
Rubicuda. I call it the Hemi Cuda. I don't know why I did, but
But he takes this Rubicon on 37s and just launches.
Yeah, no, it sounds nice.
Sounded good.
It sounds great until it doesn't.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's 100%. But the problem is
I'll send you that video.
It was. I can't remember if it was okay. Obviously, it's a roller follower, so not a tappet. But what I was getting at was the tappets rollers. There was a way that they had to come out that the cam could not be taken out, essentially unless the engine was turned upside down. I don't know this for a fact, or the heads were off. So is it overhead cam? Must not be because the cam.
It can't be.
It can't
No,
be.
it can't be. Because
It's a push
overhead
rod.
cam, the cam is on top of the head.
God, we must be mistaken.
Overhead.
I understand, but I'm just there's something weird. Okay, I gotta do some fact check here, but
I was just saying.
All right, that sounds like
Can't-
something for a different episode.
heads off, push rods off, then the cam could come out. That I recall, and I remember that one little roller was starting to degrade.
Yeah.
The bearings had gone, and it had the quintessential super Hemi tick, not the normal Hemi tick or the exhaust manifold tick.
So it sounds like my Jeep, only in a Hemi.
Extra maybe.
Different.
Okay.
Hemi-tick's different.
Less parking lot,
okay.
cold rip.
Alex is never going to live that way.
Yeah, no.
Nick, you're really ripping. Wait a minute.
I love how slow he drove by, though. He was just like, when he came back, he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, everybody sees me.
And the other day when I passed him, it was just, I'm like, are you going to make it to the stop sign today? You're driving fucking slow. He literally was like,
But I see the Jeep.
I think he was
know
just like,
it is.
oh shit, she's here.
Don't tell my dad.
I figure
Your dad knows.
I figure
Don't
he's
even-
got one freebie. I'm willing to give Alex one freebie. If I see him doing something stupid, I'm going to give him one freebie. And then if I see him do something really stupid, then he's getting his shit called out on. But I figure I'm going to... Don't worry. I will...
When Nick asked where the
Threatening
hell
him.
all the retire went, I'm like, wow, the donuts at the central parking lot says. Your dad doesn't do that for a reason. So holding it off the pin for minutes at end.
No.
But anyways, yeah, so that's basically...
Yeah, I was just saying...
Yeah, I think we're at. Because otherwise,
we're going way off topic.
We will keep talking.
Yeah.
We'll keep going, but I think we should end the way we did last time. I mean, what did you have?
So I had started off with a Rolling Rock Extra Pale, which is just nice drinkable beer. And then Mitch was so kind to bring me a old-fashioned Pilsner.
So what you're saying is
Pilsner.
what you're saying is I'm broke and I'm from Saskatchewan.
They have a good taste in beer.
And it's smooth.
Just easy beer.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
It's a nice, easy drinking one.
How about you, my love? How was your mixed drink?
So mine is actually, it's called Mama's Lemonade. So it has raspberry vodka, a lot, a can of Sprite, and then strawberry lemonade.
Oh, that's why you're so friendly.
I am always friendly when I have this.
I'm ready
I
for
had two of
people.
them the other day when we were editing. That was, I slept pretty decent that night.
Yeah.
I slept pretty decent that night. But
That was a trip.
That was a trip. But yeah. So what is some of the, you've had a few.
Okay, so in all fairness, most recently this Muskoka Mad Tom, kind of a gold standard. Forgot how dry hoppy it is. And the one that was a bit of a surprise was a maple butter tart ale. And you would think that is absolutely disgusting.
You would think so, in a beer.
And honestly, like a lollipop in your mouth, but in all fairness, they didn't go overboard.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
and if I was going to share something, it would be a little slap of that because...
You know what? I think it's because it's an ale. Normally you see like maple butter tart or whatever. It's stouts or porters or something that's already got a lot going on in it.
Yeah, no. I think you're exactly right. And I think maybe because they like to go gentle on things, it's like a little splash of flavor.
Yeah, that's that Sawdust City from Gravenhurst again, eh?
Yep.
Hey, north, eh?
Yeah.
But in all fairness, I can appreciate that. And you're right about the... What are some of the ones we've had from, like, Waterloo that are a little bit intense, where they're like...
Some of the porters and stuff like that can be really intense and shiver-causing.
Oh, gross.
God, can they make a good rattler. Whew, they can make a good rattler.
Anything with too many names and words, no good.
Yeah.
But
anyways, I think that's it.
yeah, all right,
yeah.
guys. We'll see you next week and with our next week's podcast. I'm sure we're probably going to be talking about something technical because
probably.
Maybe
we are like pent up with like our technical knowledge. We got to tell somebody about it.
Well,
so.
not necessarily knowledge, but
pent up
Experience.
ideas.
ideas, experience, and bullshit.
Things we've done together.
Yeah.
I was just saying I'd love to talk about some of the, touch on some of the breakage and issues we've had.
Yeah.
Especially not even with ours, even with other people in our groups.
Yeah, other people that we come across.
I'd really like to kind of get into that and, love to hear what people would love to hear us talk about too.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be kind of good too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you can get a hold of us on
Instagram at WSOTRJeeps. We're also on Facebook, same handle. Our email is WSOTRJeeps@gmail.com. We also have our website as well as, I think that's it.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's a lot. We're pretty contained. We're confined.
We're pretty contained. You can get a hold of us at any point in time. And one of us will answer. Sometimes. If the messages get read really quick, it's him.
Yeah.
And if they're technical, we collaborate.
Yeah, I was just saying, if it's anything too technical, then we collaborate. But
this person's too smart.
9 times out of 10, you're talking to me. So.
All right.
See you next week, guys.
See you next time.